Peace be upon you all. I am teacher Hussein Bahja, and before we begin with our lesson, I want you to watch with me this video. Back to me. This scene is taken from the movie Jurassic Park. I don't know if you have watched it before, but I'm pretty sure you felt you would be out of your seat, or it might just raise the adrenaline level in your blood. Actually, you had that feeling because of suspense. Today we will be talking about this literary element, and our objectives are to identify the elements of suspense and to identify examples of suspense in a story. To begin with, what is suspense? Well, it is when an author creates questions in the reader's mind, causing him or her anxiety about what will happen next. Well, I suppose that you have read stories where you wanted to read the next page because it is suspenseful. Actually, it isn't necessary that it is scary all the time. It might be full of action in a way you badly want to know what will happen next. How is it created? An author creates suspense by using specific literary elements. These elements are the mood, onomatopoeia, repetition, characterization, and imagery. So let us take a look at each one of these individually. First, to begin with the mood. As you know, the mood is the atmosphere or feeling created by a piece of literature. For example, when the mood is a scary or terrifying one, it would be really helpful in creating suspense. Second, it is onomatopoeia. It is the use of sound words as they mean. One example is peep, the sound of the car horn. These sound words help in creating suspense. The third element is repetition. It is repeating a line or word for emphasis. For example, it was open, wide, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. Actually, they don't repeat words because they don't have other words. It is just to emphasize the idea in order to create suspense. Moving up, the fourth element is characterization. It is the way an author creates a character. It is about the physical description, what the character he or she says, what he or she does, other characters' reactions, etc. All these play a role in creating suspense. For example, if we go back to the video we watched, the video taken from Jurassic Park, and though it isn't a piece of literature, we come to realize that characterization was an important factor in creating suspense, especially if we take into consideration the facial expressions of the two kids as well as the way they talk to each other and their reactions while they were being chased by the dinosaurs. One more element is imagery, is when the author creates a picture in the reader's mind by appealing to the five senses. An example, the eerie silence was shattered by her scream. So appealing to the senses helps create that kind of mental picture in the reader's mind, which makes the story come alive. Now I want you to try, on the following slide, check how the details create suspense in the paragraph. What I want you to do is to pause the video and take some time in order to read the paragraph and to figure out the details that help to create suspense in this paragraph. Take your time, and whenever you are ready, click play again. Well, the red-colored words are the details that help to create suspense in this paragraph. Actually, there was great imagery concerning sensory details in the paragraph, which helped to create a frightening mood. As you know, and as we said before, mood is an element of creating suspense, along with repetition when we said really, really fast. And of course, the details that are related to the character. Here we're talking about characterization. The character's physical state, he had an injury, his fears, his reactions, all these played an important role in creating suspense. Well, I picked this excerpt from our story, The Monkey's Paw, in order to illustrate this example of suspense. Well, why don't you have your three, sir? Said Herbert White cleverly. I have, he said quietly, and his blotchy face whitened. And did you have the three wishes granted? Asked Mr. White. I did, said the sergeant major, and his glass tapped against his strong teeth. And has anybody else wished? Persisted the old lady. The first man had his three wishes. Yes, was the reply. I don't know what the first two were, but the third was for death. That's how I got the paw. His tones were so grave that a hush fell upon the group. Here, the red-colored words help to create suspense. Actually, the most dominant element was imagery. We're talking about the sensory details as his blotchy face whitened. We're talking about the glass tapping against the strong teeth and the grave tones that created silence among the family members. All these and others help to create suspense. Finally, I'd like to remind you that suspense is a feeling of anxiety or anticipation that the readers experience in a story because they want to know what will happen next. And the elements of suspense are the mood, onomatopoeia, repetition, characterization, and imagery. Now it is assignment time. I want you to refer to page 89 to find an example of suspense and then to explain it by shedding light on the elements used. That was everything for today. Thanks for watching. May God bless you all.